Hi, guys. Welcome back to episode 6 of Relatively Chaotic with your three favorite cousins, Austin, Danielle, and Haley. We are just going to dive right into life updates for all of us. We just saw each other. Unfortunately, our grandma just passed away. So I know we've talked about her a bit in some of the other episodes, but she just had her 93rd birthday and decided she was over us. So she went back to go see Grandpa. So we apologize in advance if this takes a super weird turn because we're all emotionally and physically exhausted, but wanted to check back in. So who would like to give us any other kind of update on their life since we last chatted?
Been a lot of family time. That's a big one. So that's been taking
Yeah.
up the last, I feel like, couple weeks between like her birthday, her getting sick, the funeral, the
Yeah.
wake, all the family in town. That's been most of what my life has been. I feel like tomorrow I go back to work, which will be a regularly scheduled program. My nephews have a combined birthday party this weekend, so that'll be fun. Like a happier reason to get together with family. But it was good. Like all the grandkids, obviously, like all the cousins were home, so that hasn't happened in a really long time.
A
So
long time.
I was like, that was
Yeah.
nice to see everyone at least. Depressing reason, but a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there was, a sad reason to come together, but certainly a million and one silver linings from the last couple days for sure. One of which was how many first cousins are there of us? 28?
28.
28, yeah. We got a picture of all of us together in the worst lit room ever, but it was all of us. The lighting, horrible. But
You're asking for a lot from an elementary school gymnasium.
Yeah. The
I don't think
thoughts
that's
that
what
go
it
through
was
my
designed
brain.
for.
That may be true. But the thoughts that go through my brain when we all sit up there for a picture, I was like, all right, are we standing in the number order? Are we fixing the lighting?
Oh yeah, so that's a good point. We did spend most of Grandma's visitation figuring out the age order of the cousins. So silver lining there. We did get to number everybody. My number is number 14. So I apologize to the two of you that I know I told you your numbers, but I don't remember what they are. So but I'm number
Got you.
14. So woo woo.
I think I'm 23. I feel
Oh, good. I'm
like
glad you said that because I think I'm 20 then. I was like, I'm either 20 or 23.
you
You're
are
not 23.
20,
You're
so I'm
24,
20.
Danielle. You're 24.
I'm 24. Ah.
Yes. You got
There's
Jason,
four
Rachel, Callie
younger than
between
me.
you and
That
you.
makes sense. That is math. There's 28 of us, and
Yeah.
the boys are all younger. That makes sense. 24.
Yeah.
I will try to remember that.
So that was a silver lining. We crowdsourced that. We had to ask several cousins. The aunts and uncles were not as helpful as you would have thought. And then I think it was yesterday on our drive home, Jesse posted in our family Facebook literally a family tree with everyone's
I know.
birthday. And I
I saw
was like, where was this? During the visitation, I wouldn't have had to ask anyone. I could have just looked at birthdays, but it was pretty funny. So yeah, we were talking not that long ago about getting everybody a number order. So done.
Yeah.
Nailed that.
Now figure out the grades.
Yeah, I only know probably the first 6 or 7, and I'm lost after that. So
Fair enough.
wherever it gets to Sophia, I can get there, and then I'm out. I don't know who came after her.
That's
I
fair.
could maybe make a guess, but wouldn't know for sure if it was right. So
What other silver linings have we seen the last couple days, y'all?
well, it was fun to hear some like stories about Grandma that I hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
Our cousin Chad in particular, he gave us a really funny story about when Grandma gave him a haircut. So
Oh,
that was pretty funny. But yeah, I think that was nice. Just people reminiscing about the fun that we all had growing up and spending time with aunts and uncles and grandma and grandpa. So that
yeah,
was nice.
Another one for me was I got some extra quality time with one of our cousins, Anna, and her
Oh
partner,
yeah.
Morgan, since getting to Iowa in the middle of the winter was uh, uh,
A
not.
challenge?
Yeah, it was. I toured all of the other regional airports just to get here. It was,
Yeah.
an adventure that I wouldn't have chosen for myself. But but I was glad to have made it. But thankfully, Anna picked me up in Chicago, as you both know, and we road tripped our way over to Iowa. So made it in.
Yeah, and you're staying at your parents' house until Sunday, right? Which by then it
Yes.
should be 80 degrees. So a complete
Yeah.
shift from yesterday where it was like 2 degrees.
Ah, yes, and I know we've talked about this before, but my least favorite thing is the wind, and that was like the thing I was greeted with when I
Yes.
entered the
Yeah.
Midwest.
Yeah, Monday was very windy. Made
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things a lot more miserable.
At least
Fine,
everyone
fine.
was
Weather
able
for
to
better.
make it. I know yours was an adventure, but
Yeah.
I was kind of worried because
Hmm.
it was like a full-on blizzard at the beginning of the week.
Hmm.
Yeah, Chad left the day before me from California, so our cousin Chad. And if I had just done that, I mean, he'd have had smooth sailing. If I just left one day sooner, it sounds like I would have been fine. But
Well, he is number one, so
Mm.
it makes sense.
Uh,
He got here one day earlier.
that's true. All right, I'll remember that. What would Chad do? So I gotta start thinking. What
Is that our new motto?
There
What
you
would Chad
go.
do?
would Chad do? Shout out to Chad.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll love it. Perfect. Well, anything else y'all are dying to share before we dive into our factory settings?
I think so. Let's
I don't
do
have
it.
enough brain power for other
Perfect.
things.
I know. I know. Again, apologize in advance for whatever happens when we are physically and emotionally exhausted from the last few weeks. Okay, so we are diving into then our factory settings. So this segment is where we dissect a personality trait about ourselves to learn a little bit more about each other or ourselves, depending on the situation. So the one that we're doing today is emotional triggers. So we took a quiz from there's Paul Ekman website. They do like all kinds of personality traits. The Paul Ekman group. They do all kinds of personality trait research and things like that. This is the only quiz I could find that was like actually about emotional triggers, but it's kind of an odd quiz. So you just kind of answer your response to the question which we can go over, and then really just see how you compare to everybody else who's answered the question. So they don't really do a lot of dissecting on what that may or may not mean. So we can read into that however we want, but it was the only one that was like just about emotional triggers that I could find. So the instructions for the quiz was to select the option in the multi-choice that brings out this particular emotion the most in you. So the first one that they have is anger. And the options that they gave were, let's see, getting cut off in traffic, being stood up by a friend for a dinner date, not getting the job promotion you were expecting, and then talking to someone with opposing political opinions. So you're supposed to select the one that brings out that emotion the most in you. Um, so what did you guys pick? And then we can kind of compare that to what everybody else answered.
Jump out right in, Austin.
Great question. Haley, thank you for the encouragement, Danielle. I picked talking to someone with opposing political opinion, actually,
Same.
I think. Yep.
Yeah, me too. So good to know we're all on the same page there. You know what is really fascinating to me? Of the four options, this actually ranked number 3
I
amongst the
know.
people that answered, which I think is strange. The
Hmm.
number one, do you think you could guess? Or did you
Getting
look at the
cut off
results
in
already?
traffic. I looked, but I don't remember. Was that the number one?
It is not the number one. The number one is being stood up by a friend for a dinner date.
Oh,
The number 2 one was getting cut off in traffic. Then it was the political opinions one, and then not getting the job promotion you were expecting. I just think this is insane because genuine anger, you're telling me
Yeah.
that's like, I just don't get it.
when did this come out though? Because do you think it's like when the political climate was maybe a little less tumultuous? Like
That's a great
it was
question. It
easier to
doesn't.
Maybe.
have conversations without anger flying out.
That's a great question. It doesn't say when it was published. The website does. The website itself is continuing to be updated. It doesn't say when this quiz in particular was originally published. So that's a
fair.
great question.
Because like 10
that
years
I
ago, I
can't
think I could
answer,
have had
but
a debate without getting angry. I'm not there
yeah,
currently.
yeah. And so, yeah, then to be fair, something like getting cut off in traffic could make you more angry.
Mhm.
The one I just don't get, the being stood up by a friend.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely be angry, but like, I don't know that would be the biggest one. I think that getting cut off in traffic would make me more angry.
I agree. I would be
Actually, I don't know.
annoyed and
Yeah.
worried, I think, because I'd be like, I'd give them
Yeah.
positive intent of like, you didn't just stand me up to be an asshole. Like, if you're my friend,
Yeah.
one would assume
And if
that
it's
there's a reason,
yeah,
right? Like,
exactly. It would depend on the circumstances for sure. Like if
Yeah.
it's somebody that I'm like, you've never done that before, like what happened? And if it's somebody that like maybe we're kind of on the rocks as a friend and you weren't sure if they were going to show up anyway, I'd be like, okay, not angry. That's really just kind of fed into what I thought was going to
Right.
happen. So it is what it is, and we can deal with it from there. But
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like I agree, and generally, for this particular category, I feel like mine are like reverse order from this. It's like political opinions would be the thing that made me most angry, followed by a job promotion, followed by traffic, and last would be getting stood up by a friend.
I think the job promotion would be more like disappointment for me than anger.
Same.
I guess depending on the circumstances, like if somebody got promoted above me that I don't think maybe should have, maybe that would make me angry. But yeah, I think more would be disappointment than anger. But
That's interesting. I feel like when I think about jobs, I often feel like if, there's a good line of communication going between you and your boss, I'm thinking of like within like the same team. I guess if you're just like going for a different role altogether, then I probably would react the same way, right? Because you're getting a bunch of different factors influencing that. But if, for example, your boss has control over it and you have a good line of communication with your boss, I feel like you should know if you've laid the tracks up to that point to like achieve that. Or if not, then there's like something missing that you don't understand, or something else going on that you can't control, which is frustrating.
yeah. But yeah, so let's see how the rest of these play out. Okay, so sadness is the second emotion. And the options or the selections were discovering you weren't invited to happy hour with your coworkers, seeing your best friend cry, breaking a treasured family heirloom in a move, and then watching a documentary about endangered species. Again, super random options, but what was your guys' pick?
Mine was seeing my
Danielle?
best friend cry. That would make me sad because
Austin?
you feel
Yeah.
helpless.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
Austin, what was yours?
I felt pretty heartless. I said watching a documentary about endangered species.
Oh, all right.
The one I'm most removed from.
That's funny.
I don't know why that is.
I picked breaking a treasured family heirloom in a move, and I think it's because I am most of the time pretty heartless. So if it was something that I really treasured and it was gone forever, I would be sad about that. Well, I think Austin, you probably have your screen up, so I don't know if I can rely on you to answer this. But Danielle,
Yeah,
what
I
do you
do.
think? What do you think the number one pick was?
Best friend crying.
You would be correct. That is accurate.
I had the right answer.
37% of people said the same. The second one was discovering you were invited to happy hour with your coworkers, followed by the treasured heirloom, and then the last
My
one was
gosh.
the endangered species.
This is I'm opposite on this one too. I swear.
Yeah, only 8% of people selected endangered
Wow.
species.
But they're so helpless.
To be fair, honest, I think, or Austin, I think that'd be my second one, and then the family heirloom,
Thank
and
you.
then the
Yeah.
drinks, because like I have friends. I don't need to go with my coworkers, which sounds bad. I like my coworkers, but like
Yeah.
have fun
Yeah, I
without me.
agree
That's
the
great.
coworkers would be last for me.
Yeah,
Like, again, no offense to my coworkers, but
right.
also
But
happy hour. Like, that means I have to work the next day.
right, I'm getting too old
I
for
don't
that.
want to be tired. Yeah.
Side note, can I just complain about one thing real quick about
Yeah.
the way this quiz is formatted? I'll stop looking at the graphs, Haley, so I
Oh,
can
you're
fairly
fine.
be surprised. But I don't know if you had the same thought when you finished this quiz. So it was interesting to reflect, and then it pops you over to that graph page. I don't have any reference to what I initially selected, and I don't know about you, but my memory
Yeah.
is not that good. I got there, I was like, oh, what did I select?
Yeah. I know. I had to like take the quiz all over again.
Yes.
I'm like, wait, what did I pick?
And then I
How
took
do
it
I
out.
know where I sit?
Go
I'm
ahead,
feeling
Danielle.
good about myself. I did retain those memories for that long.
You are the youngest of us.
That's fair.
Well,
24, remember?
I didn't like also that there's no context around this. Like, yeah, I can see how I
Valid.
compare it to everybody else, but what does
Hmm.
that mean? Like, what does that say about me?
Hmm.
Which is why we're dissecting it together. Okay, so the third emotion was fear, and the options were finding a spider on the wall near you, getting a text that reads, "We need to talk," suddenly becoming dizzy and feeling faint with no apparent cause, and experiencing heavy plane turbulence. So, what did you guys pick, and then what do you think was the number one option or number one selected?
I want to hear what you had, Haley.
Yeah.
So it took me a minute to think about this because I'm like, okay, what really like fear, right? I almost picked the spider one because I'm really afraid of spiders. But then when I look at the options, I picked experiencing heavy plane turbulence because that is something where you could actually die depending on how things go. So that was my pick. What did you guys pick?
I feel like there's something to be said about the loss of control, which I feel like that plane option kind of spoke to, but I feel like getting a text that reads, "We need to talk," is the more ominous one to me, and it could go in so many different directions. So without any context, that one was, I think,
That
the
one was
biggest
yours.
trigger, yeah.
Yeah. Danielle, what
I did the same as
did
Austin.
you
We
pick?
need to talk because usually if
That
I
we need
get
to talk?
that, it's like a call that someone died. So it
Sure.
invokes fear in my soul usually.
Oh no.
That's fair. That's fair. So what one do you guys think was the number one pick?
Mm,
Do you think you matched with that, or do you think it was something else?
I feel like it was turbulence. I feel like a lot of people are afraid of flying.
I think it's the texting thing. Texting is such a common experience for everyone.
That's fair.
It was the texting thing by over 52%.
Damn.
Over 52% of people said that something that's like true fear is getting the we need to talk text. The second one by barely was suddenly becoming dizzy and faint with no apparent reason. And then the third was the plane turbulence, and then the least by only 11% of people selected the spider on the wall, which I'm like, I get that it's the least, but also it scares the crap out of me if it happens. So
You know, Danielle, we have an opportunity here for some exposure therapy. If just any time we reach out to each other, we just preface with a "we need to talk." That could just be our buy-in every time.
No.
And then
Please don't do that to me.
Immediately.
you're gonna have a panic attack. There's
Yeah.
not enough sour
Let's not
candy in the world.
trigger more anxiety.
Yeah.
All right, got it. We'll heal in a different way.
Okay, the fourth emotion was surprise. And the options were bowling a strike on your first round as a total novice, witnessing a shy family member making a scene at a restaurant, running into your boss at the grocery store, or reaching out for a handshake and being greeted with a kiss on the cheek. What did you guys answer for this one? Remember, it's surprise. Like, what would surprise you the most?
I would say a quiet family member making a scene at like a restaurant. That would surprise me.
Yeah. Austin, what was your selection?
This one was a little tougher for me because I also considered the shy family member going bananas as an option, but I ultimately went with reaching out for a handshake and being greeted with a kiss on the cheek. I feel like what it reminded me of is that even though as a dancer I'm like very lacking a bubble if I'm in that like head space, if I'm not in that head space, there's like a bubble. And if you go too close, that's gonna be that's just gonna surprise me.
Yeah, that's fair. Danielle, I'm on the same page as you. If it's like the shy family member, if they like just all of a sudden freak out for no apparent reason, I think that would be the most surprising to me. Although I totally understand where you're coming from, Austin. So having said that, do you guys have an idea of what you think the most selected one was?
I'm gonna go with the surprise family member. I'm like thinking of like Brian
Yeah.
losing his shit, and that would be shocking to me.
Yeah, that's where I was too. I'm
Right,
like, what
I
if
was-
Pam all of a sudden started screaming at somebody out of nowhere? Like, I think I'd just be like, what is going on?
Pam is our aunt. For
Yeah,
the
number
record.
4.
Brian's our cousin.
Yeah, Brian is number
26.
26. Yeah.
Yes, because his
Look at
brothers
you
are the only
doing
ones
math like
younger.
that.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the answer actually is D, reaching out for a handshake and being greeted with a kiss on the cheek.
I
Oh,
feel
look
so
at you,
validated.
So
Austin.
Austin, you're like right in line with 43% of people answered that
Fun
that way.
fact.
The second one was witnessing a shy family member making a scene at a restaurant, followed by bowling a strike on your first round as a total novice, and then running into your boss at the grocery store was the last one. The bowling the strike one, like, I guess maybe surprised, but I think more I'd be like excited. I think that would
I
be
would
like
agree.
joy. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I can't believe I did that. It's so exciting, But yeah. And then let's see, the fifth emotion is disgust. So the options were smelling sour milk, watching an operation scene on a medical drama, being sneezed on by a stranger, and then sharing your toothbrush with a friend was number 5. I selected being sneezed on by a stranger because ugh. The other ones are like, okay, fine, I get it, but also like, that is so gross.
That is
Keep your
hilarious.
germs. I do not want them.
I thought all of them were rather disgusting, except for that one. I thought I could handle the most.
Oh my gosh, that's so much. So what did you pick then? If it wasn't the being sneezed on by a stranger?
Well, for me, it was like a close tie between the operation scene on a medical drama and smelling sour milk. But I feel like the smelling sour milk would give me like a very visceral, like
Yeah.
automatic reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a close second for me. Danielle, what did you pick?
Being sneezed on by a stranger.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Well, what's the nature of the sneeze?
And he
You know,
said,
I don't
think it matters.
I don't
know.
need your
Is it a light
inside
mist?
fluids on me.
That's what I would. If it's someone that's like sick or something, then there might be like a hailstorm. But if it's like a light mist, then I'm not as concerned.
No, you're fine with a light misting of someone's snot on you. Get out. That's so gross.
Austin.
I'm just saying,
Was it
it's
a
rain.
light mist? Either way, I don't want mist on me. I don't even care where it comes from.
We're
Don't want it.
we're all a little dehydrated all the time. So
Gross.
Gross.
you mean disgusting?
Disgusting. Yeah. All right. What did you guys think was the number 1 pick then?
I think being sneezed on by a stranger, that's diabolical. I'm just going to keep saying the ones I say because I think I'm right.
I think maybe the medical drama. I feel like
Well, Danielle, we were correct. It is being sneezed on by a stranger by just shy of 50%. The second one was sharing your toothbrush with a friend.
Mm.
Not the most disgusting thing.
Oh,
I
I
don't
was like, I
think.
feel like I've
Like,
done that. So
yeah, same. Like, forgot my toothbrush. I'm just gonna borrow yours. Like,
is it gross? Yes,
I don't.
it's
But
fine.
yeah, yeah, it's not the most disgusting thing ever.
Yeah.
But almost 27% of people think that it is. And then in third place was smelling sour milk.
Mm.
I agree with you, Austin. I think it should be higher. Like like I could see that as number 2. Like
Yeah.
you would get a really visceral reaction from that.
Yeah.
And then that puts the watching an operation scene on a medical drama in last place, which makes sense to me because there's so many medical TV
That's true.
shows out there that people like them and they watch them all the time. So
And I
not a
feel like
high
some
concern.
people are
A lot of people.
fascinated by that more than disgusted.
That is
Like
true.
that's more of like it's like a you can't look away kind of situation.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the 6th emotion is contempt. And all of these, just a heads up, all of these have like a pretty close rating on who selected what. So finding the number 1 answer, you're going to be pretty close on all of these. So the options were being chastised for a bad habit that you've seen that person exhibit, overhearing your boss take credit for your research, witnessing a friend's spouse on a date with another person, or listening to your partner discredit the amount of household chores you do. I can't remember off the top of my head which one I picked. I think it was like the being chastised for a bad habit that you've seen that person exhibit. But like I said, these are all really close. So I think that all of them are good in the running for me. What about you guys?
Well, I would say this one I was kind of challenging, and obviously, like you just said, there's a bit of an even split between the things, but I feel like I was struggling to identify what would actually evoke the feeling of contempt itself versus just like a disappointment or confusion or frustration. Um, and I was looking up definitions. Sorry, this is a long-winded answer.
No, that's all right. Give us the definition.
Well,
Maybe that'll change my response.
well, I feel like there was a range of the definitions because the first one that came up from the Google was the feeling that a person or thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn. And I don't think any of those feel like how I would react in these situations. But there was a few others that were like, let's see here, the offense of being disobedient or disrespectful, well, of a court of law. So stuff like that.
That one will get you thrown in jail.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like the whole feeling it didn't resonate. So I kind of settled on just like the feeling of like dislike or like having no respect for someone in this situation, which again feels kind of strong. And I went for listening to your partner discredit the amount of household chores you do. It would be an ick.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't disagree with that. I think that that would come in a close second for me, for sure. What about you, Danielle? What did you pick?
It would seeing your like friend's partner on a date with someone else. Like to me, that's cheating and fills me with a lot of contempt.
Yeah, I also thought about that. Obviously, like I said, they're all like so closely tied. For me, I think that instead of contempt, I would just go straight to anger. So that's why I didn't pick that. Because I think that immediately, like, I would be so angry at that person, seeing them like in that situation. But also potentially like confusion, like a man and a woman, or they could be out together for completely different reasons. Like maybe I wouldn't necessarily jump to the conclusion that they're on a date. So
Yeah, that's kind of where I landed. My first thought was like, oh, I bet I would wonder if they're in an open relationship.
yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah, you might not just immediately jump to like they're on a date, like maybe they just are at dinner together or whatever.
But I guess in my mind of the question, like it would be seemingly obvious, right? Like they're at like a candlelit romantic dinner and like I'm close enough to this friend
Holding
to know they're not in an open relationship. Do you know what I mean? So like I would be like,
yeah,
what's going on here? And be very, yes. I don't think I'd be angry
Yeah.
because I would like start going into like crazy person mode of like what we could be doing about that. So
Yeah. So the number one was listening to your partner discredit the amount of household chores you do. The number two answer was being chastised for a bad habit that you've seen that person exhibit. Number three was overhearing your boss take credit for your research. And then the last one was witnessing a friend's spouse on a date with another person. But they were all very close percentages of who picked what. It does make me think of like, so the top answer being like listening to your partner discredit the amount of household chores you do. It makes me think of this. There's this TikTok series where I don't remember the name of the podcast, but this gentleman, like he has experts come on and he asks them all these questions about relationships and things like that. And he had this one relationship expert on, and she said that the number one predictor of a relationship failing, you can see it. Like you don't even have to have a conversation with a couple. Like if you see this, it's the number one predictor that their relationship will fail, and it's contempt. So like if they're watching a couple and they can see contempt in the other one of the partner's faces towards the other one, like that's the number one predictor that their relationship won't last. And it's because of things like this where like the other person does not respect what the partner is doing for them and vice versa. You know, maybe there's a stay-at-home wife whose husband doesn't respect the fact that she takes care of the home because he's out there making all the money, whatever that might look like in each relationship. So I just thought that was really fascinating to like, you don't even have to have a conversation with that couple to know that they could be heading towards divorce or breaking up. It's just seeing that look on somebody's face. And she said that once that kind of like has entered the chat, it's very difficult to get rid of. So even if they are working on their relationship, it's a hard emotion to get rid of once you have it. So yeah, I just thought it was really fascinating, and obviously not a lot of other people, but a majority of people that took this quiz agree with that. So
that makes sense to
it's
me
cool
though,
to know that.
because that's like you have completely different points of view of what the relationship that you're in is, and like that's hard to when you get that far down the road, like undo that.
Yeah, like it's years potentially of feeling that emotion, so it's just difficult to like all of a sudden not feel that anymore, I guess.
Yeah, feeling
So
undervalued and like that impacts how you view yourself as well. Like that's that's a lot. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then the last emotion was enjoyment. So the options were achieving a physical goal you've been working towards, receiving negative test results after a cancer scare, eating your favorite meal, or visiting your childhood friend from across the country. So, what did you guys pick? This one I think was difficult for me as well, because like true enjoyment, like that's where I'm trying to think, like place myself in these situations.
I agree. I think these all would invoke emotions in me, but like cancer would be like a relief, right? Not enjoyment per se. Like enjoying a meal, like that would be a level of enjoyment. But I think, I don't know, maybe I'm just privileged that I like enjoy a lot of meals. I like food. We talked about that this week. Like, so like that would be something that
I'm
would
a
like
foodie.
stand out as like a trigger. So I would say like getting to see like a friend that's across the country. Like that's like I would really enjoy having that time with them because it's like scarce.
Austin, what was yours?
I went with what I thought was going to be the most immersive sensory experience, which was the food. I thought about all these. I was like, I just get real happy when I have good food.
Word.
That's true. You know what's funny is I thought for sure you were going to pick achieving a physical goal, only because you have so many physical goals for yourself. I'm like,
That's
well,
true.
surely that's his. So that's surprising, especially with, the last episode we talked about your abomination of food choices. Like, that's surprising to me that you went with food, but
That's true. Well, I did seriously consider that one, though, since those physical goals are often like further apart. I think what got me was that I'm more regularly running into like the milestones for physical
Hmm.
achievements, like some of the bigger goals ones are further apart. The food
Hmm.
one is something I more regularly enjoy and get
Yeah,
that
L-
that's
response.
fair.
Let me challenge this.
Um,
So, which I mean, your answer, but like, wouldn't it be more enjoyable if you're working towards it longer when it pays off?
Potentially. The other thing that I considered when I was thinking about that physical goal is sometimes I feel like I'm very checkboxy with my goals. I'm like, did the
Yeah.
thing. What's
yeah.
next? So I was going back and forth whether I would have that feeling on some of the like gymnastics goals that I have, for example. There's a few that I've been working on for a while that I can do, but I won't necessarily do by myself yet for my own fear of death. So
Oh, well,
I think
that's good.
yeah, yeah. But I think my thought process on some of those skills though is either when I finally mentally get to a place where I'm going to allow myself to do it by myself, there will be tears, or I'll be like, great, check,
Yeah,
and walk right
that's
along.
fair. That's fair. I'm like, you were or you are expecting to get there at some point, so
Hmm.
that might potentially take some of the joy out of that because you worked for it for
Yeah.
so long.
Well, and
That's fair.
too, I don't I think I mentioned this a while back, but most of my enjoyment is from the journey of the like uh physical goals that I have, right? Like
Hmm.
the consistent dedication and practice and like body awareness growing. So by the like you were just saying, Haley, by the time I get there,
Hmm.
I've had a fun journey.
Yeah, you've been enjoying it along the
Mhm.
way,
Yeah.
so you knew you were going to get there at some point. So perfect. Well, I selected also Danielle, the visiting your childhood friend from across the country. Well, one, I love to travel, and then I love to explore places that like someone else calls home. So like
Hmm.
I think that doing that with someone that I've been friends with for a really long time, and on top of being excited to see them, but like excited to see how they live their life in the place that they live their life. That's kind of why I picked that. Although food would be a close second for me because I do love to eat, and I have like a particular places that like I keep seeing on TikTok that I want to go try and eat their food, and so I feel like that experience will be very joyful if or when that may ever happen. So okay, so the number one response was achieving a physical goal you've been working towards. That was just over 35% of people selected that one. The second one by 28% was in eating your favorite meal. So, um, and then the third one, visiting your childhood friend from across the country. And then the last one was receiving negative test results after a cancer scare. Again, that one I agree with Danielle. I think that I would feel maybe more relief than
Yeah,
joy.
agreed.
Um, Although I guess I've fortunately never been in that scenario, so I don't know for sure, but
If
that's
I
just
could
what I imagine.
Yeah, if I could just back up though to something that you said earlier, Haley, I feel like I did not know that that was something that you in particular enjoyed, which was snooping around people's household homes.
Not houses. Although the one time I visited you, no, I'm just kidding. Um, but no, I enjoy experiencing other people's life, I guess, a little bit. Obviously, I'm not going to go with them to work and sit there and watch them while they work. Although, Austin, the one time that I visited you, you did take me to your office at the
Oh
time and showed
yeah,
me,
the
which
headquarters.
was really cool because it was a cool working space and there was, you guys had like a photo booth, so
Mm-hmm.
we took pictures
Yeah.
and it was just really fun just to like see how you live your life. So if you say, "Hey, I was sitting at my desk today and I thought of this," I can be like, "Oh, I can now picture
Mm-hmm.
what you look like sitting at your desk because I saw your desk." So that's something that I just really enjoy. Yeah.
Learn something new.
Yeah, and then you get to show me your favorite thing. So like it's enjoyable again for me to like experience a little bit of your life
Yeah, no, I can
that
understand
way.
that. So we just need to plan another trip, I think, is what I've just taken away from this, Haley.
Yeah,
So
I would come back to Portland and see you, or we could really go anywhere. I mean, it's
yeah,
just
so many houses to explore.
I know, right? Start opening those drawers. Who's got what hidden? Awesome. Well, any final thoughts on the emotional triggers? Like I said, it was an odd quiz, not something that we've done like this before, but also it was the only one that was like truly just emotional triggers and not pulling in other personality traits that we may want to explore later. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it was just a fun little, I guess, way to have a discussion for sure. Perfect. Well, if we have no other thoughts on emotional triggers, Danielle, you have an out-of-pocket question for us today.
Oh, I forgot about this.
So this is our newest segment where one of us brings a super random question to the group and we discuss our thoughts and feelings on it. So Danielle has an out-of-pocket question for us today. What you got?
This is courtesy of Annie because she has very strong opinions on this, which is my best friend. What number
And your
do you-
cousin, right?
Yes, and my cousin. What number do you hate to write the least? Like the most, I guess. What number when you're writing do you hate writing of the numbers?
All right, this is a
And
similar question to the alphabet question where I'm
I
going
know,
to need
I'm
to
gonna
look
have
that up.
to Google it.
and I
What
would
are
say
they
like
again?
1 through 10. Like let's not get it, I guess, unless you're very
Okay.
passionate about like 330 or something like that. But to me, that's just a repeat of numbers, right?
Okay, I'm looking at numbers. 1 second. My gut tells me number 7, but I'm
Ooh.
just checking to make sure.
Interesting.
And it's about writing it, not just your emotional experience with the number, right? It's about the physical
Correct.
journey.
Like when you're writing it, what do you not?
Hmm. You know, I'm kind of conflicted between 2 and 10. 10 just feels like there's 2 numbers there. It needs to get its shit together. It's just going to fall apart. 1 and 0 could go anywhere. What does it even mean?
Yeah.
Is this binary? I don't even know. We're on 2. I don't know. 2's a shady bitch.
Care to share more on why 2 is a shady bitch?
Yeah, what about 2 evokes this emotion?
Okay, well, I'm just looking at this picture of it, and it has 2 eyes in this graphic at the very top of that art, and it's like it's leering. So,
I'm
you
gonna
know.
need you to send me that photo later so I can see what the
Also-
heck you're talking about. 2
But
eyes?
But like in
Yes,
your
I'll send you the
handwriting
picture.
when you're writing it, like when you're physically writing it. So why you be doing 2s like that then if they have that? Like
Yeah, what are
I
you
also
doing
feel
to
like
2s?
it's not a good balance of curvy and straight lines. It's
Yeah,
like a little
okay,
curve
that's
and then plus the eyes.
What about you, Haley?
Yeah, so I stick with the number 7. I think that it could very easily be confused for a number 1 if I'm like in a hurry. Sometimes if I'm worried about it, like getting confused, I'll do like I'll make it fancy, like you put the little thing on it and then you make the cross on it, to like really make it abundantly clear that it's a 7. But yeah, sometimes I write really fast and then like my 7 ends up looking like a 1 and then the whole thing is thrown off. So I'm sticking with number 7.
I texted you both the pictures of the numbers with the eyes just so we can all send
Can't
I'll look at it later. Danielle, what's your
mine
number?
would be 8. Like I want it to look a certain way, and maybe it's just like my handwriting abilities, but like when I go too fast, it's like gets too skinny, and I want it to be perfectly symmetrical with the circles, and it's like not working, and I just looks like an infinity symbol, which is a whole other level of trippy. Like it's
Yeah.
not for me.
That's fair. So what was
Annie hates
Annie's?
5. She hates writing 5, which my
Oh.
birthday's on the 5th, and I think it's rude AF.
That's personal.
Clearly.
Can I ask a related question?
Sure.
You guys watched Schoolhouse Rock growing up?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yep. And they had their number series, a song for each of the numbers. What was your favorite song number?
I don't remember it that well.
I know like
Danielle, come
Conjunction
on.
Junction. Like I don't know a numbers theory. We didn't watch
What?
it that much.
Oh, we watched them. I think we watched them in like school when we were doing like multiplication. We
did not.
worked our way through them.
You had a
3
fancy school. We
3
didn't
was
have
my
that
favorite.
fancy of a school. 3? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's
Okay, I'm gonna have to
literally
look
a
it up
magic
later.
number according to the song.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just remember Conjunction Junction. That's about it.
I remember the song about the bill.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, now that you mention that, I remember that. Yeah, that's funny. I can't believe that Annie has like a physical reaction about a number 5.
We have gotten in long conversations about this, so I was like, what a perfect one. I'm sure she'll appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with number 7 because I do think that, like you said, Austin, it could be a shady bitch. It could be trying to be a 1 and we just don't know it, and then all your numbers are off. So I'm standing firm on my number 7.
I'll be
Who's
curious if your
7 and
opinion
8?
changes when you look at that graphic. Yeah.
We'll have to
I,
check back later.
yeah, I feel like looking at that picture, it's the 2 is like look like it's leering, but 7 just looks innocent. It's just like staring.
I don't know what you Googled to find that, but I'll look at it later.
Okay, good luck.
Okay, perfect. Well, any other thoughts on numbers? And what one you absolutely hate writing?
No.
No? Perfect. All right. So we are getting ready to move into our hot take spiral. Again, as you guys may remember, we have been doing like a deep dive into us as the hosts to get you to know a little bit more about each of us. The first one we did was Austin, last week was me, and now we are diving into Danielle. So I'm going to give you the floor, Danielle. Get started. Austin and I are going to ask you some questions once you're done.
I'm afraid of what the questions will be. And honestly, reflecting on like talking about yourself like this is a very strange exercise, I will say. Like, I appreciated you both more after I had to do it. I was like, oh, yeah, this is weird. But I guess I'll tell you a lot of things you already know, I'm assuming. But for everyone else, so I'm 33. I grew up in Lamont. That's where I was until 7th grade. When then I moved to Jessup, which I always thought was super interesting because grandma lived in Lamont until 7th grade, and then she moved to Jessup. So like just
Oh.
a little Louie. I thought that was a weird overlap. But then that was like a big like change in my life because I was a lot closer to extended family. So I ended up being like in school with a lot of cousins. Started a lot of like new friendships. It was just kind of like a before and after period of my life. Started going to Catholic school, which is what I did from 7th grade to my senior year. So that was a big shift. I graduated in 2010, went to the University of Iowa, where I majored in communications and journalism. I thought I was going to be a pharmacist, and I'm not good at math or science, so that really took that out immediately. But I enjoyed like public relations, so I was in the PRSSA, which is Public Relations Student Society of America. So I did a lot of stuff like for events and like meetings and stuff as extracurriculars in college because I didn't have a PR major at the time. I don't know if they do now at Iowa. So did that, graduated in 2014. Met a lot of people in my life in college that I'm also very close to now and still love dearly. My roomies that I still call roommates, even though I don't live with them. And then after that, I lived with Haley, like we talked about, because I moved to Des Moines and got a job at Wells Fargo. Did not care for that job, even though loved living with Haley and Sophia. So then I moved back and started working at Hawkeye Community College. I did that for God, it feels so long ago, for a couple years, where I did concurrent enrollment. So I would work with high school students to get them signed up for college classes and help them kind of understand based on where they wanted to go and what they wanted to do, how those credits would transfer and what made the most sense for them to kind of take for general education or like any elective classes to kind of get those paid for through the school. There wasn't a lot of like like room for growth there, and I didn't care for the director of the department at that time. So I started at VGM, which has been almost 9 years ago. That's where I'm at still. A completely different shift in my career. So I went from concurrent enrollment to um oh gosh, how to explain what BGM does in an elevator speech? Let's see. So I guess currently at HomeLink, our division, we coordinate medical services for patients and insurance companies. So my team specifically, we will coordinate anything from like diabetic supplies to um, like nursing, home health nursing, wheelchairs, custom rehab wheelchairs, all over the board. So I just manage a team of people who do that. So always something different because with healthcare and with 36 people that I work with on my team, lots of personalities, lots of changes in laws, lots of changes in what patients are needing and coverage and things like that. So that's kind of my job. I kind of already mentioned that I have very large families on both sides, which you guys have picked up from. Obviously, these two were my first cousins. We talked about 28 on the Neverman side. I have a whole bunch on the Weber side as well. But my immediate family is smaller. So I have a younger brother, obviously my parents, and then my sister-in-law Brenna. So my brother has with my sister-in-law two girls, and then uh two boys, so two nieces and two nephews, which I'm obsessed with them. Um, and then my parents are both child number 10, which I always think is super weird because neither of them are youngest. And like, how many people have parents that are the 10th child and then they married each other? I think that's insane. Um, Other than that, outside of like my family and my job, I just like to try to find things to keep life like interesting, right? So I like to romanticize my life. I like to do bucket lists. I like to charge Haley with ideas and then she makes them come to life for me. um but I wanted to call this out, Haley, because I think you'll appreciate it. I think Austin watched this with us, but I know that you're obsessed with it like I am. There is an episode of Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries, where she talks about like she never wants to like waste a moment of her life. So I try to like emulate that. Like obviously, even if I'm having like a lazy day in, I try to like make it cozy or put on records or do something so I feel like it's like I'm being intentional with my time. So with my, I guess, day to day, I feel like I'm boring, but like try to like enjoy the little things. So I like to read, I like to travel. I'm an obsessed cat lady recently. And then I just try to chip away at my bucket list. So on my bucket list, I've dyed my hair purple. I've gotten tattoos with my best friends. I'm hoping to get a tattoo with Haley of a chicken and a duck here soon. I've
Mm-hmm.
run a half marathon. I'm working my way through the 50 states to travel. Let's see. I'm very uncoordinated, so I don't know if this is a bucket list item, but I have broken my ankle, all of my toes, and had a hip injury. So I'm just uncoordinated and gimpy while Austin's over here dancing. I am breaking things and running into things and have bruises all the time from just walking into walls. Um, Currently I'm obsessed with sourdough bread. So trying to learn how to not overproof it. Half the time it's great, and the other half the time I don't know what I did different that it didn't work out, but it's still great. Um, but otherwise, I feel like my life, I like to think of it. I know we've talked about like our values a little bit, and I just like to think of it of like the people I've met along the way and like the experiences I can have with them. So kind of like what we talked about in our emotional trigger was like just like being able to like visit friends or like you said, Haley, like see things from their point of view. So I just feel like I'm a collection of the things I've learned from the people I care about, and I have a lot of like people I really care about in my life. I'm lucky like that. So that's kind of me, just like always looking for a new adventure, but also as I'm getting older, trying to have like more boundaries too, to be like what you said, Austin, like what am I giving my time to? So that brings us up to date. What questions do we have?
I have a point of clarification.
Yeah.
When you said you've broken every bone in your body and the hip was in there,
That's not what I said.
oh, my bad. Was the hip injury the one from picking up a child?
Yeah, yes, it was. I picked up a 2-year-old, and what was that? Like five, 6, maybe longer. When did Chelsea get married? I don't remember what year that was.
Ah.
I don't
Um,
remember.
yeah, it's been at least half a decade. Still an issue. Been to PT several
What
times.
what
It's
was the
tough.
official prognosis on that?
They don't know. They didn't really tell me. Like they think I pulled a muscle that's like attached to my actual like pelvic bone. Um, and she just weak and fragile now.
Wow.
It just like
Have you ever
like
seen
it just like popped. Like I picked her up and I like felt my leg pop and then I couldn't walk.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah,
Ryan,
that was crazy.
And then
also
she was
a
down.
person
Yeah,
with
down
bad
and out.
hips, helps me gimp right along. What a guy. Yeah, I was down. I
Oh,
was like
that's
laying
right.
on
So
the
that would have
floor.
been
It was bad.
Ryan and I had only been dating for like a couple of months. So that would have been 2021. So not quite 5 years ago.
Okay, there you go. Coming up on 5 years.
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
hip issues,
I think
and
August.
he was like, I had a bad hip, let me help you. So he was like my crutches, and then helped me limp to the state fair and get a motorized scooter. Can't slow me down.
Yeah, where you ran me over
Well, you were really
with your
close. That
scooter.
was honestly on you, because I had a beer and I had a scooter, and you were standing really close to me. So she had tire tracks on her legs.
I did. I had tire tracks on my shoe and up my leg. It was actually a great day at the fair, but
It was.
And you said so that was 5 years ago ish at Chelsea's wedding reception,
yeah.
mutual friend Chelsea's wedding reception. Have you seen that child since?
Yeah, I have not picked her up though.
You have?
No, I have not. Learned my
Oh,
lesson.
okay, probably for the best. Got it.
And she's like such a dainty, tiny little thing. So it's like, it was just, I must have moved in the wrong way. It was such a freak thing.
Yeah. She's such a sweet little girl, too.
She is.
Sorry,
it wasn't her fault.
rapid-fire
I
questions
literally
on
yelled
this
at
one.
Haley, take this, and then I fell. So
Yeah. She shoved her at me. I'm like, oh, well.
Does your hip like tingle every so often when you're around a child? You're like, oh.
Giving you warnings. Don't pick up this child.
It does not. And I haven't really learned, because I still was like picking up Paisley yesterday, who's almost 6 and super tall. So not a fast learner.
Yeah, she's really tall.
Whoops. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, Danielle.
About my hip
so,
or not?
oh, I don't have any more questions about your hip. One of the things that we learned over the last few days was that one of your goals in life was to be like Grandma Louie.
Oh yeah.
Because of her, I don't even know how to describe her. Like her sass and her like personality. Like she always had something to say, and it was almost always funny. It was a little bit savage, but do you think that, I mean, I know that we talked about it, but do you think that you are doing a great job like emulating Grandma Louie, or do you think that you still have like some things to hit to be able to be more like her?
That's a good question, because we're very different, but also we do have like similars, because I do feel like I can be savage. And I feel like you never have to wonder what I'm thinking, and I can serve some looks.
Yeah.
Never gonna have 11 kids. Like, that's not gonna be it for me. She was also very like religious, and I am not that. So I was like, there's some like distinctions. I also
some differences,
enjoy a drink, and she did not care for drinking. But I was like, I do feel like how I like view her of like what I want to be like is she knew the people, like she would only tolerate the people in her life that she like wanted to be around. Like you knew how she felt. She was clear about that. And if you wanted to be in her life, you would work with that. And I'm like, yes, let's do that. So I feel like I'm getting better at that, because I'm very much like, if it doesn't serve me, I'm not doing it just to do it. Like, I don't know. Not that Grandma, she didn't like cut people out. Definitely didn't. But like, wouldn't put the effort in if it wasn't something she didn't want to do. So,
yeah,
I appreciated that about her. And I don't know that I'm there. I mean, she was 93. I got a lot of time left. But do you guys think I'm doing it? I guess from the outside looking in.
I think so. I think there's so many. There's so many of us that I see her in, and just like, you know, in a previous episode, I mentioned that we're all a little bit mean, which, you know, comes from Grandma. I don't think that it's not coming from a bad place, but maybe a better way to phrase that is like, we speak our mind, and you don't have to wonder how some of us are feeling. So I definitely see that for you. And it's like, it's the quick wit, it's the quick responses to things. So I definitely see that reflected in you as well, as Grandma. So
yeah, I was feeling like, I wouldn't say mean, I would say like direct and bold maybe would be like that. And I think like, most of the women in our family definitely have that. Sorry, Austin.
Oh, you're good. I was just reflecting on whether you needed to have a million children to really embody the spirit of our grandma, but
they might have helped. They might have taken her patience.
Yep. I think by the time all of the grandkids came along, she was just like, I'm just going to tell him how it is.
More
Don't even
kids.
care. Not going to try and be nice on this. Yeah.
Oh.
Danielle, one other thing that kind of stood out to me as you were rattling off your life adventures and misdeeds was that in terms of like your at least more recent work history between VGM and the Hawkeye Community Center or Hawkeye Community College, that you've been in a like guiding or like counselor-esque role between working with the high school students and then also being in a leadership position now, right?
Yeah.
Is that something you saw for yourself?
No, honestly, it didn't. I think I'm good enough at it. Like I care about people, I listen to people, but it does take a lot out of me. So I don't know. I don't know. I've never really thought about that, to be honest with you. Like I have opinions and I like helping people to a degree, like where it's like, let me help you do what needs to be done and I can have your back kind of a thing. I think I am not patient, so it frustrates me, but also like I can hide that, so I don't know that other people see that. It's just personally draining.
Well, and what did you say your major was? It was communications?
Yes,
Did I
and
get that right?
journalism.
It was communication and journalism, yeah. Which I mean, I feel like I guess I'm just assuming having not had that major, but it seems like all those things would lend themselves well in this context, right? Like you definitely need to be tactful
hmm
and be able to communicate.
Very
Or I
true,
mean, I guess that's
yes.
maybe
And
really a
communicating
question
with
for you.
different types of people. Like, yes, I do
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot of nonverbal things, and everyone needs something in a different way, and everyone emotes a little bit differently, and being able to like make the connections where people are willing to trust you, because if they're going to listen to you, they have to buy in. So, yeah, I feel like it's
Mm.
been helpful, especially virtually makes it so much harder because 90% of my team is virtual, so you're not like in person with them. So like over video or even like picking up on how they message based on like what you know of them and their tone, like kind of building that understanding can be a challenge.
Do you
So
feel like
yeah,
there's any particular nonverbal communication tactic that is especially triggering to you?
I don't know, just more body language. Like you can just tell if people are
Mm.
stressed out or like
Or if they flip
if
you
they're
off when
hiding
they're angry.
something, I guess, like
It's a
from like
real
an
clear
EQ.
message.
Yeah. Yes, that is a clear message. That doesn't happen
That's
yet.
good.
I guess never say never.
I have a question. How did you get from pharmacist to like PR and journalism? Like what made you decide? Obviously, we know why you didn't go into pharmacy, but
Yeah.
what made you pick PR and journalism?
I had just taken like some like elective classes because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And that was like the stuff that was interesting to me, just like the different theories on like and why people like how they communicate. Because I think like going into college, it was also like a transition in my life where like I had been around my friends all the time and I didn't have to really try and put an effort in, but then like wanting to be in contact with people and like having issues with communication and then understanding that through like classes, I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And it kind of helped me maintain relationships to a degree. And then also, PR, like with it, is a sense of risk, and I feel like that gives me a thrill. Like we did like I think my baseline is just like strung out at all times. Like I apparently enjoy chaos and being stressed to the max. So with that,
Is
I
that
feel
why you
like
got
PR
cats?
was interesting. Yeah, they also do stress me out. I don't know if you saw me moving around earlier, but Whiskers was trying to eat like a safety pin. So yeah, I don't even know what your question was.
That's all right. I think you answered my question, so
Okay,
that's totally
excellent.
fine.
Thanks for asking.
Well, any more questions, Austin, that you have for Danielle? Or Danielle, any more thoughts you want to just let us know before we move into our last segment of the day?
You know,
I think I fully understand Danielle now.
the perfect.
You are known.
It's all I've been
Not quite
striving
as
for.
much of an enigma. Awesome. Well, we are going to move into our last segment of the day, which is Are We Ready for Taylor? Um, the song that we're going to be dissecting today is Look What You Made Me Do from Reputation. Um, all right, so Look What You Made Me Do from Reputation. Well, first of all, so Reputation, the album came out in what, 2016? So,
Mm-hmm.
for me, when the album came out, it wasn't my favorite album. I was still trying to, I think, because like I was an OG Taylor Swift fan, so I was still trying to make that transition with her, like through
Mm.
1989, even though I
Mm.
love that album. Um, like from where she was moving out of country into pop. So I didn't hate the album. It just wasn't like immediately something that I was like absolutely gravitating towards. So I just didn't listen to it a lot. Um, what really got me into Reputation obviously was like the Eras tour. The Reputation era and the Eras tour is probably my favorite era. Everything about it is just like I don't even know that I can describe it and do it justice, but the Reputation era is definitely my favorite. Um, so for this song in particular, the lyrics that I love the best are just the ones that are like, it's the one that's repeated all the time. Look what you made me do. It's like, look at all of the crap that you guys did that is making me react this way. Like you pushed me to this point, and now whatever happens kind of happens because of you. I just love that thought. So I did a little digging into the lore of the song just because, like I said, I don't know as much about the Reputation era as I know Danielle does. But the lore behind this is the Kim and Kanye like drama. So there was a ton of drama. Like Kanye put her in like one of the songs and then said that he told her, but he didn't tell her the whole truth. And then they were trying to like smear her reputation by releasing like doctored phone calls and all this stuff. So I just love like knowing that about this song, then like bringing it in where it's like you did all of these things to try and ruin me, and now I'm going to respond to you in the way that Taylor Swift does, which is to write a song about it. So I love that. And then I did watch the music video, and again, like hadn't seen, I don't know, I'm sure I've seen it before, but really like paid attention to it. And just like in the Eras tour, when she does the song on stage, it's like all of the prior versions of herself kind of like make an appearance, but like she has kind of, it's alluded to in the lyrics, but she's learned a lot about herself and like how to react to people. And the things that they did really kind of killed that naivete in her. Um, and like she learned how to respond or like what it feels like to be treated like that and then how to move forward. So yeah, I love the lore behind it, and then her response to it was just to throw out like a banger of an album. So I really love the song, and it's really just like really high energy song. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Haley. One of the things I at the time especially enjoyed about it was also the fact that she was essentially seizing the narrative for herself. So that's kind of, empowering to see. And then also, I thought a lot of what she did with the album in general, but also the song was smart, like you were saying, in terms of like referencing the past versions of herself, being able to like clearly label those or like call them out for what they were and where she is now. I also just generally like a change up or like a switch up in vibe. So like this being such a hard pivot from anything she had done previously was cool to like put on as like a hat and a vibe with, even though like the vibe of the album isn't really one that like I associate with. I'm not really a revenger of any kind, or that's it's not necessarily me, but it's fun to like play in that like
Hmm.
emotional space with her music. So that was cool. Did you give your favorite lyric, Haley?
I did. It was
Yeah,
the
go.
"Look What You Made Me
Oh,
Do."
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
What's your
Yep,
what's your
that's right.
favorite
Mine.
lyric?
Mine was I mean, it's the moment where she says, "I'm sorry, the old Taylor can't come to the fore right now because she's dead."
Yeah.
I think there's that whole rebirth and or like moving on aspect. I don't know. Spoke to the Gemini in myself.
Yeah.
We're multifaceted and we continue to reinvent.
Yeah. I love that. Perfect. All right, Danielle. What do you have for us?
Oh gosh, I feel like it's a lot of pressure, but that's also my favorite lyric, Austin, because I feel like it's like the rebirth, and like I feel like
Hmm.
it's just very it's iconic, and there's like so much symbolism in that. I day one was obsessed with this album. I love this album. It's definitely one of my favorite albums. It's very She was not very well liked by the media right at this time. Like they were very unkind to her. It was brutal, and like you said, this was just her taking back the narrative. There was a lot of like her dealing with mistrust. And honestly, this album was like at the beginning of her and Joe Alwyn dating. So it was like a weird combination of like kind of love songs, right? Because like this was the era of Taylor where she was actually falling in love. Whereas like you would think it's Lover, but like no, this was like the version of her who was like writing that song. So amazing. Also, what you had talked about with the Kim and Kanye, because yeah, I think it was at the was it the Grammys that he came up and like stole or was it the VMAs? I don't remember. But he came
I
up
think it
and
was the
like
VMAs, but
took the mic from her and then said Beyonce should have won, and then Taylor like had forgiven him, and then it was all this stuff again. So then she was getting smeared even though she really didn't do anything wrong because they manipulated everything. Also in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, one of my favorite things. And it's been a while since I've seen this, so if you just watched it, Haley, check me. But she's like in the bathtub with diamonds, and she has a dollar
hmm
in the tub with her, and that dollar is because she sued someone for $1 for sexual
yeah,
harassment because he put his
Yeah.
hand
yeah,
up her skirt, and it was like just she obviously didn't need money. It was the principle of the theme, so she put that in
yeah.
there. They also have
I
the
forgot about
T
that.
also have the TS like crop top because Tom Hiddleston, when she was dating him very briefly, had like the TS like heart shirt that he wore that was like all the lore
hmm
behind it. So just like reclaiming that, and like you had said, all the different versions of herself, and like her just
hmm
being like catty with versions of herself and like saying things to herself that the media said all the time. I just feel like it
hmm
was very much like a I don't fucking care anymore. But then if you've ever watched like her documentary, she this was the album that didn't get like nominated really for anything, and
hmm
she was very very proud of this album, and that was very hard on her, and she was very emotional. But then like recent years when she was doing her re-record, she was like, well, I don't it's going to be very hard for me to re-record that album because like I don't think I could have done anything better. So just the growth of that, and it's such a oh, I love
hmm
it. Like super like it makes me feel like all femme fatale, right? Like I listen to it and I'm like, yes, I can take on anything. Like
hmm
look what you made me do. It's okay that I'm mad because I feel like it's kind of perceived as an angry album, but it's not because I think it's just like, yes, stepping into your power again. So, love
Yep.
it.
Yeah,
Absolutely obsessed. I'm sure there's more I miss, but that's what the Reputation era makes me think of is just like her
yeah.
dealing with all of that shit. And she kind of went dark and like started a relationship and was just like, this is me. I'm going to do whatever I want. No thing makes you happy.
Yeah, I love that of like the phrasing that you said, or like it's not her being mad or angry. It's like her, um, like coming into her own power. Like all
Yeah.
of this crap happened, and like, yeah, I could be like live in my anger, or I could just realize that I can rise above and be a better person and be a huge badass and create an album. Like it was not appreciated at that time, but
Mhm.
now like it's like a cult favorite. Like
Hmm.
everybody um is talking about that. Everybody was waiting for the Taylor's version of Reputation to be released. Everyone was clowning on, oh, we think this is going to
Yes.
happen. This means that, all the Easter eggs. Um and yeah, I like when she got her music rights back, where she said that she had not re-recorded much of Reputation because there was nothing that she thought she could improve on because she did it so well, but also, going back to that place, like it's just not who she is anymore.
Right.
Hmm.
So it would be really difficult to like re-embody that person. What I would love to see is all the vault tracks. Like
Oh
just
yeah.
release those. That would
Please.
be
Please,
that would be
Taylor.
fantastic. Like, don't do something that's not authentic to you and force yourself to re-record something that it doesn't need to be out there. But give us the vault tracks. Give us the stuff that we really want. And I would be happy with that. So
Also, did I already say that Brenna gave me this CD for Christmas? So I was like immediately
Oh.
like you. And then oh, the photo shoots from this era of Taylor are unreal.
Yeah.
Crazy. So good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
good. Now I have to re-listen to this whole album today.
I know, I'm gonna have to put it on my list of things to do, but perfect. Well, I think that we got your lyric, we got everybody's thoughts. So, any last things to say about Reputation before we wrap things up? No, I'm getting a no. Perfect. Well, next week we are going to be discussing stress responses. And the song that we're going to be diving into is State of Grace. We were trying to get Molly on. We had some scheduling things pop up the last week, so we are hoping to have Molly on soon. But until then, this is our plan for next week or the next time that we talk. But yeah, any last thoughts, feelings, emotions, bucket list items? Anything that we missed in this version of today's podcast?
I think we're good.
Perfect. Well then, thank you everybody for joining us in this relatively chaotic life, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.